Chris, I think back to 2 years ago, right after the Super Bowl, after Russell Wilson looked miserable in the suite sitting with Roger Goodell, watching Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, another
difference.
PM. Yeah.
Peyton Manning hasn't played in 7 years. PM, that's it. PM, and it's
Right.
Broncos. I got Broncos on the brain. Great quarterbacks on the brain. Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes playing in Super Bowl 55. A couple of days after that, he's on with Dan Patrick, the show that follows us here on Peacock, and he starts airing grievances about the Seahawks.
Right.
And next thing you know, his agent says that he does not want to be traded, but he would accept a trade to the Bears, Raiders, Cowboys, or Saints. And who was the coach of the Saints at the time? It was Sean Payton. So finally, Russell Wilson gets what he wanted 2 years ago. And we'll see if Sean Payton can fix Russell Wilson. This is a no-lose proposition for Sean Payton, because if Russell Wilson stinks this year, it's Russell Wilson. We could say after last year, maybe it's Russell Wilson, maybe it's Nathaniel Hackett. We don't know. This year, if Russ doesn't get it done, it's not going to be because of the coach. It's going to be because of the player.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Broncos, they hit it out of the park here. You know, whatever it is, they got the best coach available in Sean Payton. He's one of the best minds on the offensive side of the football that we've seen in the last 20, 25 years in the league, let alone being in the conversation for one of the best head coaches in football, too. True, general of the ship type of guy here. The guy that's going to walk into that building there, and they're going to be like, whoa, we haven't had anything like this in a long time. Guy just telling us all what to do, knows how it's supposed to be done. So it's going to be great for the organization. And then, listen, when it first happened, the first thing I thought of, and in a good way, with a grin, is just, that lucky SOB Russell Wilson, look at this crap. He's just going to, struggle, and he's going to get the damn quarterback whisperer, the guy, the offensive genius himself is going to come into town, and he's going to save Russell Wilson. He is. Not to say that Russell Wilson might not have been saved to a degree with somebody else. I just have, I have little doubt about it now. I don't. Sean Payton's going to make it all about Russell Wilson and the quarterback and making it better. He's going to take the challenge personal, let alone we know how great he is on the offensive side of the ball. And, of course, he's dealt with a quarterback who's a little bit smaller in stature before, too. So he's going to know how to make him feel comfortable and do all of that. And so that's, from that standpoint, right off the bat, I just go, man, what a great, double down move on your $250 million contract on Russell Wilson. Yeah, hey, we're spending some money here, but I think this is money well spent in Sean Payton, and he's the guy that can turn Russell Wilson back to the guy we know and we've known for a while.
January 25 of 2022, Sean Payton resigned as coach of the Saints, and the play was Sean Payton and Tom Brady in Miami. That was all happening behind the scenes last year and didn't come to fruition because on the same day Tom Brady officially retired, unofficially, fake retired from the Buccaneers, Brian Flores filed his lawsuit against the Dolphins, and it blew everything up, threw everything off track. The Dolphins couldn't proceed with their plan. But Payton, taking a year off when he wasn't going to, went to work for Fox, and he said this in October on Colin Cowherd's show when Russell Wilson was already struggling through the first 4 games or so of the season.
Right.
What Payton said is, I'd want a cut up of all of Russell's pass plays of 30 or more yards from the field. I'd want to see, are there some schemes that he felt comfortable with? They did a great job in Seattle of bringing him off of a naked bootleg and pulling up, and we all saw that he would throw it back to Tyler Lockett 60 yards in the air. I'd want another look of all of his red zone touchdown passes inside the 20. That's what I'm asking for from assistants. I want some of his greatest hits, and I want to make sure that we have those song lyrics available. If not, we have to put them into our offense. That's what good coaching is about. It's about figuring out what your players do well and doing it, figuring out what they don't do well and not doing it. And there's a good chance that last year, even though Wilson's the one who got the blame, it's a good chance that he was being asked to do things that don't fall within his skill zone. And that Payton, I guarantee you, will only do things that Russell Wilson is good at doing and won't expect him to do something that he's not built to do, Chris.
I agreed, 100%. The only way I'll push back a little bit here, but it's not going to be a real pushback, is that, hey, The 15-yard out route last year that was open 80 times, right? I mean, Russell Wilson can hit that. But to your point here in all of that, Sean Payton is like he's a salesman. He's going to be able to sell his plays better, and he's a hype man. And he's going to make – and one of the most important things about playing football in the NFL, and especially at quarterback, is just confidence. Confidence and yourself and your offense and all of that. And that's all for the great ones too. That's Brady, Manning. They'd all tell you that. You know, the coach has to have that way of, hey, every now and then I got to yell at him. But more than not, it's, hey, make this guy make sure he knows he's the man. So it kind of permeates through the rest of the football team. And I think that's where he's going to be great, too. So he'll be able to do some of those plays that didn't work with Nathaniel Hackett. He's going to sell them different by a little different coaching points and the way he communicates, because he's one of the best communicators there is, right? I don't know how he'll do that. I haven't been in a room with him that way. Needle him, whatever. But also then start to build the guy back up, too, to be like, hey, come on, look at this. To your point, Mike, look at this. This is 5 years ago. You could still do this. You were throwing 20-yard out routes then. Look, here's the tape. Here's the tape. You could do this. And he'll start to rebuild Russell Wilson, the player, the competitor, the computer, and his confidence to where that'll be the first step. And that's where I have total confidence in Sean Payton that he'll get things going in the right direction for the whole team in that way, and have them all going, wow, this is awesome. What an awesome playbook. And they'll be saying that by the second or third week he's there.
Yeah, you mentioned Russell Wilson missing a 15-yard out route that we know he can make that throw. So you start wondering, can he not make that throw? But the confidence undermines everything.
It does.
When you feel discombobulated, when you feel like the walls are closing in on you, that your teammates are doubting you, that the media is doubting you, when you are someone who is so clearly attuned to public perception and how you're viewed and what they say about you, when they're not saying nice things about you, that's going to affect you. And that's not a criticism of Russell Wilson, because I would say most of the quarterbacks in the NFL are very sensitive about what we say and pay attention to what we say. And even though they act like they don't care what we say, they deeply care what we say. So all those things come together, and it causes the man's psyche to crumble. And it makes what was once easy impossible.
Exactly.
We've all been through that.
Right.
Anything we do, if you're not feeling confident about it, you're not going to do it as well as if you did feel confident about it. And you're going to make a bunch of dumb mistakes along the way because it's gotten inside your head. That's human. So you're right. Sean Payton's goal, beyond the X's and O's, is going to be the leadership, the encouragement, drawing out the best version of Russell Wilson that he can. Pressing the buttons the right way to get the desired result. That's what a coach does. Coach doesn't slam himself into his room and draw up schemes all the time. Scheme. You got to work with the humans, and you got to get the human beings who are working for you and with you to do the best they can. And that's, Peyton. And
that's
where
he's great.
Back, Peyton only won one Super Bowl, and Peyton this and Peyton that. Look, he paired with Drew Brees, a guy who's about the size of Russell Wilson and slighter of build than Russell Wilson, and he made him into one of the all-time greats. Right. One of the all-time greats.
Right.
And look, Drew Brees had something to do with that. Right. Intense competitor, got the absolute most out of his God-given skills, et cetera, focused and driven and hardworking. But Russell Wilson's got a lot of the same traits.
That's right.
And Sean Payton is going to maximize them. Whatever Russell Wilson is right now, Sean Payton will maximize it. Whatever he has left, wherever he is at age 34, Sean Payton will maximize it.
Agreed. That's where I love it. Again, and Jim Harbaugh, you said all the right things as far as him being a good head coach, and DeMeco Ryan. I certainly think he's got a bright future, and we'll talk about that later. But for this situation, intended or not, this is the right guy in my opinion. And two, they're in a lot of ways got a lot of pieces to where, hey, they're kind of ready to make a run. I'm not sitting here saying Super Bowl, but they're ready to jump back into the, hey, we're relevant, we're in the playoff conversation. Their roster is definitely better than what their record showed last year. So that's where I love it. And then, yes, you traded away a lot of assets and players and then paid a guy a ton of money. And, yeah, now you got to pay a new head coach, a lot of money too. All right, and you had to give away a few draft picks, but damn, it's worth it. As we've talked about, the head coach in the NFL is so important. It is, to me, worthy of, quarterback money, or at least being in the, second highest guy in the organization being paid other than the quarterback. They've been, severely underpaid for years, but that's where I think this is going to be a match made in heaven. I really do. I think they lucked into this one, and it's going to be awesome. And Mike, to the other point too, the other thing he's going to do, I would just be shocked, right? The other part of the building up of Russell Wilson, getting him going, look at my plays, look at all this, look at what Drew used to do, look at what you did. Man, you can do all this stuff. He's going to, I would bet you the first moves are going to be offensive line related. That's the other part he's going to rebuild, Russell Wilson. He's going to go, look, I got all these big effers up here. Just don't worry about it. We'll get them protected just like he did with Drew Brees. Yeah, you're a little smaller. It's all right. I'm going to have the biggest damn guys ever. And you just get back there and listen to what I say and read the plays out. That'll be another thing that, of course, was an issue last year, but he'll take that off the plate of Russell Wilson having to worry about it, and that'll go a long way in building his confidence up and letting him, fire the ball around the field as well.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.